diction, darling. I did years of speech and drama lessons. It's good to enunciate. You guys are a lot friendlier than I expected. Yes. American people are so friendly that everyone is as good looking as people on TV. That is an interesting one. So today we're going to talk about some misconceptions that non-Americans have about America. And I'm going to give you my input on the stuff other people have said. But who are you? I'm Diane. That's all you need to know. No, I'm Diane. I'm from Ireland. I like to visit the United States as a foreign visitor and check out your stuff and things and try your stuff and things for the first time and talk about cultural comparisons. Do we generalize here? Sometimes. That's what makes it fun.
But Diane, not everybody in every state does the same thing.
I know, but you could say that about Irish people. Not all Irish people are alcoholics, and yet that's a stereotype that is somewhat based in reality. Irish people just drink for everything. We drink for funerals, we drink for weddings, we drink when we're sad, we drink when we're happy. Generalizations, stereotypes, generally there's truth in the stereotypes. So let's get on with it. Okay, this list comes from Reddit, and first up we have, I thought Americans ate pizza all the time. That's funny because pizza's Italian. I will say that before going to America and getting to know some of you guys, I did think that you ate a lot more fast food on the daily than you do. And I think there is some basis in truth, but such has become of most of the Western world. So growing up, we had a lot of homemade dinner made by my mom and sitting around the kitchen table at 6 p.m. every single day. But as life has evolved, I'm now grown up and I certainly don't sit with my family at the kitchen table. I mostly eat off the floor. No, you get your dinner and you sit in front of the TV and you watch it. But I do think that American people make their food at home a lot more than just order food from takeaways or fast food places. I mean, financially, you couldn't afford to be getting that kind of food every day. Even fast food is so freaking expensive now. Next up, being English, I didn't think about the language barrier. Oh, that is so true. So a lot of times people on here come on and they say I've lost my Irish accent or that I don't really have a strong Irish accent. I adapt to the way I speak sometimes for you guys. And diction, darling. I did years of speech and drama lessons. It's good to enunciate. But there are certain things that I just don't say because I know nobody will know what I'm talking about. Like, a very common one I say in everyday life is it's grand. And if you're familiar with Irish people, you'll know it's grand means fine, okay, nice. But I just wouldn't say it to my majority American audience because you'd sometimes be like, what? And in the same way, sometimes you guys will say things and I'll be like, what are you talking about? Oh my god, what was the one that came up recently on Twitter I was asking you about? Sweeping brush. So I went on a bit of a mad one. I was thinking about, I had to buy a new sweeping brush, this thing. And I was thinking what a funny term sweeping brush is. It sounds so made up. And I tweeted that and everybody came back at me like, that's a push broom. What the hell is a push broom? That is one that has never come up for me in TV or films or talking to you guys before. Push broom? Let's all just call it a brush and be done with it. But every day and every way there are new ones that are just surprising. We mostly all speak English, but it's very different English. I've definitely picked up some terms that you guys use as I find them useful. Y'all, that's a big one. Y'all is so easy. It just sums everything up. It's easier than saying you all or you guys. I thought people would say yeehaw a lot more. Yeah. And also Irish people don't really say top of the morning to you, except Jacksepticeye, who I haven't checked in on that guy in years. I hope he's still doing well. But yeehaw, yeah, for sure. Yeehaw? Why is it spelled yeehaw? I thought it was yeehaw. You guys are a lot friendlier than I expected. Yes. American people are so friendly. And now that I'm around a lot more different Europeans from around the world where I live, I've noticed the contrast even more starkly from Irish people. American people are so super duper friendly for the most part. And I'm not sure entirely what that's based in. Feel free to jump in the comments and let me know. I do think some of it comes from the amazing customer service, which is tip-based. But I don't think that's the only motivation. People are just generally friendly there, very smiley. That generalization is true too. American people are smiley people. If you ever meet a person from Eastern Europe, in contrast, it's not that they're unfriendly, but they do seem unfriendly. They just don't smile as much. You'll smile at some Eastern European people and they'll just be like, which is kind of unfriendly, but not all. Generalizations. My German friends wanted to shoot all my guns. Yeah. Honestly, the gun thing is very territory based. Like, it depends on the state, right? Like, whether there's a lot of gun culture or not. But I did kind of growing up think that most households in America had one in them. And in some parts of America, that would be true. I didn't register quite how far away everything is. True. I mean, it's just so big. Oh, someone's gonna cut that out and post it somewhere in a different context. Make sure I look nice. No, but it is, compared to Ireland particularly, it is absolutely humongous. I did think the first time I went to America, I went to Los Angeles for my first American trip. That was before YouTube. And I totally thought that we would be able to get like a bus from Los Angeles to like New York, no problem. You could, it would take a while. Looking at the countries on a map, you don't appreciate the vastness. And I think by contrast, people when they go to Ireland are surprised like they can do it all in a week. There's a lot more you could do that could take up a longer period of time, but you could handily get to a taste of every bit of Ireland in a week. I thought everybody in New York City would be up themselves. True. Like, I also had an idea of New York City that it was like super duper, everybody worked in a business suit, businessy place and drank a Starbucks while going super duper fast, going everywhere. But actually, New York City is kind of full of tourists. Like, full of tourists. And it's so big again that there's just such a huge mix of different types of people. But I just had an idea that everybody would be like suited and booted and working in an office. Next up, Canadian accents and American accents not being the same. This is so true. Canadians and Americans, again, speak basically a different language of English. Similar to the untrained ear, but also in mannerisms wildly different. It's like they're cousins, like your eyebrows. They don't match necessarily, and people say that they're sisters, not twins. So you should never like just keep tweezing to make them look the same. Because in the same way Canadians and Americans aren't the same. I realize that's a strange metaphor, but it is true. Canadians and Americans are so different, but they get along for the most part.
And they would destroy us if we let them.
I thought there was only one government for all states where all decisions were made. Each state actually has a lot of important decisions for itself. In general, a lot more power is distributed through the states than I expected. That is true. It is unusual as a European when visiting the USA to discover that there are different laws in each state. And I guess I knew that theoretically, but I didn't realize how different they could be. It's kind of an interesting factor in and of itself. That everyone is as good looking as people on TV. That is an interesting one. The first thing that hit me about like appearance in America is just how cosmopolitan it is. Like, very much more diverse than Ireland. Growing up in Ireland, not so much today. All you would see was white people. And the first time I was in America, I realized there was just every ethnicity of person there, which I knew, but I didn't realize as much till I was actually there. And in terms of good looking, I will just say this. For example, Spain versus Ireland, the good lookingness is much higher in Spain, largely because they spend a good part of the year in just like swimwear. I think people are more conscious to like take care of their bodies and stuff. But in America, you see like extremes. I've always said it. You just see absolute extremes on every end of the spectrum. So you will see the most beautiful people you've ever seen in your entire life in America. But similarly, you will see less aesthetically pleasing people, more so than you've ever seen in your life in America. And you'll see people super duper dressed up and people who are like wearing their pajamas to Walmart. That's the biggest thing I think about appearance that I've noticed in America. It's just so different. Everybody is so unique and different to one another. Obviously within their own like groups, they probably dress similarly or look similarly, but from a casual observer just visiting your country, I'm just like, wow, everybody looks so different. I think that's nice though. Let me know below in comments if there's anything that surprised you when you were visiting outside of your own country. I always find it super interesting to hear what you have to say. Shout out today to a couple of patrons. A massive thanks to the Karmic Goals crew, you are absolute legends. Huge shout out to Justin Rutledge, Russell Reyes, Christopher Shelton, Maureen, Flores487, Daniel Sith, Bill Ebby, Henry Chin, John Riley, Anthony Rogers, Mike H, Bill McMahon, Lord Kerry, Marty Hopkins, John F. Pfeiffer, Ben Rast, Thomas Olson, Bill W, Carl Johnson, Brian Orstal, Mark Green, Roger Sasaki, Joseph Coate, Michael Mahan twice, Dan Contini, Don Proctor, lost again, Ben Foster, Paul Dinzeo, Heather Gill, John Peterson, Tony S, Kathleen Harrington, Lawrence Davis, Kurt Johnson, Shea Lichtman, Glenn A. Lewis, Sarah Koval, Lauren Thomas, Brian Ware, and Elaine Williams. You make all this possible. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. You want to say thank you to them?
Thank you. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. That's it for today. See you on the other side. Bye.
Bye.